Hello! It's book review time! I'm going to talk about my second favourite series that comes after Harry Potter. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about these books. And when I first started reading them, I was about 15, 16, that sort of age. And I've kind of grown up with them, so I absolutely love them so much. And it is the Artemis Fowl series by Eoin Colfer. I love Artemis Fowl. There is 8 books and 1 mini story. I'll talk briefly about Artemis Fowl to give you the summary of the first book, the plot. It is about a 12-year-old genius who is rich called Artemis Fowl. He has a butler who goes by the name of Butler, who is his bodyguard, and Artemis wants to prove the existence of fairies. So he sets out to capture a real-life fairy. And the story is about Artemis and the fairies, because they do exist. They're not like the classical tiny little dainty things that fairy tales tell. They are extremely advanced in science and technology. They live underground and it is very hard to catch a fairy, but because Artemis is a genius and he still has the belief of a 12-year-old, he succeeds in catching a member of the fairy police called Holly Short. Artemis, even though he comes from a very rich, famous family, his life is messed up. His father is missing, presumed dead, and his mother had a breakdown due to that and has a mental disorder. Artemis wants to capture a fairy so he can have a wish and the fairy gold. And the story is about the fairy police trying to get Holly back and to keep the secret from the humans, or mud people as they call them. And it is also about Artemis trying to get the gold and the wish. The fairies want to wipe Artemis's memory, and because they have such amazing technology, most humans have never succeeded in getting the wish or the gold. As the story goes on, you get to see some beautiful character development from Artemis, and you get to watch the relationships grow between not only Artemis and Holly, but the whole of the fairy police. Eoin Colfer is an amazing author. He writes comedy so well, like it's hilarious. Artemis Fowl has some dark comedy in there. There is a character called Mulch and he is a dwarf and he has some interesting bowel movements. I won't say any more than that in case you're reading it or plan to read it. So he writes comedy really well and adventure. It grips you the whole way through, and you also, the character development is so well done. You really care about Artemis and his family and all the other characters you get to know. My favourite book in the series is the second book, Artemis Fowl and the Arctic Incident. I love this one so much because the character development from the first book and the second book of Artemis, it's really impressive. Like, he becomes far more human in this and he's not as ruthless as this one. As the series goes on, you see Artemis grow from being a criminal mastermind to being a brave anti-hero that not only cares about himself anymore, he actually cares about the benefit of the human world and the fairy world. And it is done so well because it's not like one day like, oh, he's bad, blah blah, then he's good. You really get to see why he changed and how he grows to care for people. So Eoin Colfer is an incredible author in that way. The only issue I have with the Artemis Fowl series, and I was let down, I think it's because I built it up for so long and then the final book came out and I was so excited to read it and I was let down, and it is the very last book, and it is Artemis Fowl and the Last Guardian. I did enjoy it still. It hasn't changed my opinion of the series whatsoever and hasn't changed my opinion of Eoin Colfer. It was just this one to me, it didn't deliver as well as the others. I don't know what it is, it just lacks something. And when I read it, I was a bit, I was upset. Yes. Padfoot looked shocked at the fact. I will still go back and I'll read the series over and over again. So it hasn't changed my opinion, I still love it. Maybe when I go back and I read them all, one after the other, again, maybe then my opinion will change, because I hadn't read the 7th and the 8th one, like there's a long gap in between because I was waiting for the book to be released. And maybe that connection wasn't as strong then. That is the only reason I could think why it let me down. There's loads of interesting characters in the books, more than just Holly, Butler and Artemis. And even though like Holly and the rest of the fairies and the police force are no way real, Eoin Colfer has written them so well that they feel like you believe all this, like maybe we can catch fairies and maybe we can, you know, get gold out of them. Winner. I have so much praise for Eoin Colfer. Honestly, I've read another one of his books called The Wish List, and that isn't anything like I've read before. There's been a big speculation of the Artemis Fowl movie, and I think I read it last year or the year before, that it is finally being made. But there's also another rumour that the first book and the second book are going to be fused into one movie, and I've never seen a film where the first two fuse that has been any good. So I'm really nervous because I love Artemis Fowl so much, and I believe it shouldn't be made into a film because I don't ever think it would be right. I think it should be left as a book, left well alone. And I'm going to go see it, and I'll probably criticise it quite loudly if it's wrong. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But please, please, when you're writing it, please, the story is good enough. Please don't mess it up. This is so good. I can't praise Artemis Fowl enough. Even though I love Harry Potter, he is very good. Like, he's a very good person, and Artemis starts off as not, and I think I can connect to Artemis more than Harry, which is a strange thing to say, because I'm not an evil genius, and I'm not rich. If you want to, feel free to comment below if you've read Artemis Fowl, or if you think that might be the book for you. What is your thoughts of them? What did you think of the very last book? Which is your favourite book? And what is your impression of the film coming out? Thank you very much. Goodbye.